Hello everyone. You may have seen this video from Alex O'Connor, formerly Cosmic Skeptic. He interviews Peter Hitchens and it does not go very well. Peter Hitchens is not happy with how he was interviewed and with the discussion they were having. He was upset because they had a discussion for an hour straight about the legalization of drugs. It is a very popular video at this stage, 1.1 million views. And I just wanted to talk about it and give you my take on it. Of course, read it, see it for yourself, have a look at it, and make up your own mind. But throughout the whole video, I couldn't help but think to myself that Alex is a little bit tone deaf. He's making the case for drugs to a man who has literally lost a brother to drugs and alcohol. Now, if Peter comes to Alex and gives his take in his book and gives his explanations, and all that Alex can reply with is alcohol. What about alcohol? What about tobacco? What are the things that are legal? Things like that. To me, it seems that there is a bit of insensitivity there, a lack of awareness of the person he's interviewing. It's interesting, I was looking up Peter Hitchens with other discussions on this topic, and I came to find a run-in that he had with Matthew Perry. Now, that was another conversation. Matthew Perry was not happy with the things that Peter Hitchens had to say. Peter Hitchens made the case that there was no such thing as addiction, and that man, at all points, has control, self-control of his own actions. He seems very hesitant to give up that idea. Matthew Perry, of course, makes the case that when he sees alcohol, he would drink it and he cannot stop. That's the case that he was making. And it was this back and forth, back and forth. So Peter Hitchens has been here before, and he wasn't met with support in that video either, in that interview. But that's what I keep coming back to. Peter Hitchens literally lost a brother, one of the greatest minds, and despite being a religious person myself, I have a soft spot for Christopher. And it is sad when someone passes, someone that we consider an intellectual giant, and then Peter makes the case that it is immoral to do harm to oneself, and he makes the case that men and women are not islands, and that even though drugs may only impact the individual, he says that unless that individual is not loved by anyone, making the case that even if you are causing only harm to yourself, what about the people who love you? What about the people who care about you? Does their suffering not count for anything? Does their suffering not mean anything? I find those who are advocates for drugs, and I would make this case about Alex himself, he doesn't strike me as a person who uses drugs. And I think his performance as a content producer, as a YouTuber, as a podcaster, would suffer if he was to engage in abuse or use of drugs, which makes me wonder why he is such an advocate for them. And instead of just listening and taking the points that Peter had to say from a man who's literally lost someone from it, a dear family member, it was all about finding a way to pierce the argument and pierce through it so that the idea that we should have a depenalized society and a depenalizing approach to drugs should be the way forward. I don't blame Peter for being older and perhaps a bit impatient. I'm sure he could have waited a bit longer or expressed his disagreement and frustration in a different way. But Alex, I find, once he gets on his point, he wants to make it no matter what. And I just don't think Peter had, on the day, the patience for that. And parameters were set in this interview that I think made things difficult from the outset. But anyway, it seems to me that most people are supportive of Alex. The video has a lot of views and a lot of support in the comments. Someone even said something that I found quite revolting, that the fact that Christopher left and that Peter is left behind is proof, quote, that the universe hates us, something along those lines. That was quite sad to read that. I think this is a demographics issue. Alex has his demographic. I would say generally young people. I'd really like to know what the demographics are, actually. But I imagine they're young people. And people who don't see eye to eye with someone like Peter Hitchens, who has moral arguments against drugs, who is a believer in God. And I don't think any progress or anything would have been made on a topic about God. That was what was supposed to be the next topic. But they never got to that point. As you see at some stage in this video when you watch it, Peter got up and left. And that was the end of the video. But I just wanted to make the case for Peter in this situation. Yeah, it's not a good situation for anyone. I don't think anyone wins in this. Podcasting and being a YouTuber is gold, but it's true when there's drama added to it, there's a lot of interest that they can get. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think. Please share your comments in the comment section, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.